Hey, what's up guys? John here. A lot of people want to know, why does Bill Gates own the most farmland in America? I wanted to know. I was always wondering for the longest time, why does he own all this farmland? A lot of people are saying, hey John, he owns this farmland because, he wants to control food. Or other people would say, no, John, it's because it's an inflationary play. He thinks the dollar is going to just continue dying. He wants to buy up the farmland. So he owns some hard, real assets. And, they could both make sense. But what I think it is I think that this whole sustainability movement we're hearing so much about, I think it's going to be much deeper than people realize. What I think people don't realize is that they're going to start trying to bring all these jobs back to America. And they're going to do so in the name of climate change. And how are they going to do it? Why are they going to do it? What does this mean for us? Well, a lot of people would probably say, you know what, this is a good thing. Bring jobs back to America. We need to make America strong again. But the big thing here that, a lot of people aren't putting together is that Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock, came out and personally said that this movement, this transition is going to be extremely inflationary, meaning it's going to be expensive. And if it's going to be expensive, what are large corporations going to do? They're going to cut costs. And how are they going to cut costs? We're stepping into a digital age, a technological age, in which they're going to incorporate AI, robotics, and even drone deliveries. We're seeing Walmart now doing it, and Amazon's pushing for it now. We're going to start to see all these companies start to incorporate technology. We're even seeing the push away from fossil fuels here in America into electric vehicles. We're hearing so much about this. Now, how is this whole thing going to play out, and why do I believe this is going to happen to the capacity in which it's going to happen? So Bill Gates is the biggest private owner of farmland, right? Okay, well, this new company, EcoVadis, they are going to measure, to seek to capitalize on the push to quantify companies' environmental and social impact. So they're going to essentially be able to go out there and tell people what their impact is for their business on the world, whether it's them directly or their suppliers or their customers that do business with them. Everything together is going to then give them a rating, right? And this rating is then going to give them either a advantage to attract capital and investors, or fines, or they're going to have to purchase carbon credits, or they're going to have to do offsets. They're going to have to do all these different things that a lot of people don't know about just yet. But who's the biggest investor, or one of the biggest investors in this company, EcoVadis? I've wanted to know this. Microsoft. Microsoft is one of their existing partners, right? And so if you think about this, their intent is to bring jobs back to America, right? Bill Gates owns the infrastructure, a lot of the farmland, where they're going to be able to build out, these new factories and new facilities, right? And what's ultimately going to happen. So if he owns a lot of the farmland, they're going to be bringing these jobs back. They are now partnering up with EcoVadis to be able to determine and dictate how people, what their impact is on the environment. Well, this is going to give an extreme amount of authority and power to Microsoft and to, other leading partners, SAP, Celonis. There's a lot of different companies. Here's how the whole thing works. Please hit the like button as well. Hit the like button. YouTube's going to share this content to educate more people about what the future of the economy is going to look like in America. So, New York, June 14th, EcoVadis, the leading provider of globally trusted business sustainability rating, has raised $500 million with plans to accelerate its vision of influencing every business decision. You hear that? Every business decision, with sustainability intelligence becoming a sustainability impact unicorn. You really have to soak that in. Raised $500 million with plans to accelerate its vision of influencing every business decision, with sustainability intelligence becoming a sustainability impact unicorn. The global investment round, the largest equity fundraising for sustainability data. And just to give you an idea, some context of just how big this movement is, the overall economy as a whole, we have roughly $400 trillion. 400 trillion in total global assets, right? Well, so far, in just this movement, already sustainable investments have reached 4 trillion, right? So 1% of all global assets are now in sustainability. So if this isn't bringing true realization as to just how real this is, how big this is going to be in our economy. I mean, he goes on to even say that the next 1,000 unicorns won't be search engines or social media companies. They'll be sustainable, scalable innovators, startups that help the world decarbonize and make energy transitions affordable for all consumers. We need to be honest about the fact that grain products often come at a higher cost today, right? So letting everyone know this is going to be inflationary. It's going to be harder for businesses, right? Probably not the big businesses, probably the smaller businesses. That's why, I've talked about this, saying I think Americans have 1 to 3 years to make as much money as possible, because I think things are going to get much, much harder than people realize. Bringing down this green premium will be essential for an orderly and just transition. With the unprecedented amount of capital looking for new ideas, incumbents need to be clear about their pathways succeeding in a net zero economy. And it's not just startups that can and will disrupt industries. Bold incumbents can and must do it too. Indeed, many incumbents have an advantage in capital, market knowledge, and technological expertise on a global scale required for the disruption ahead, right? Well, this is what is happening right now with the capitalism sustainability. Most stakeholders, from shareholders to employees to customers to communities and regulators, and expect companies to play a role in decarbonizing the global economy. Few things will impact capital allocation decisions and thereby the long-term value of the company, more than how effectively you can navigate the global energy transition in the years ahead. It's been 2 years since I wrote that climate risk is investment risk, and the short period we have seen the tectonic shift of capital sustainability investments hit $4 trillion, right? Actions and ambitions towards decarbonizing have also increased. This is just the beginning. The tectonic shift towards sustainable investing is still accelerating, whether it is capital being deployed into new ventures focused on energy innovation or capital transferring from traditional indexes into more customized portfolios or products. We will see money in motion. And what do you think is going to happen? They say 40% of all carbon is based in real estate. You don't think that they're going to be making this push? They will be. They'll be making this big push. We're already seeing it in Ithaca, New York. They're pushing to decarbonize all of Ithaca. In New York City, local law 97, look it up. They're pushing to decarbonize New York City. Same thing in Miami, same thing in LA. It's happening all over the country. It's happening everywhere. This is not going to just be a slow and easy transition. Over the next couple of years, we are going to see more and more and more of this happen. I think we're going to see massive changes come to the real estate space everywhere. I think a lot of investors simply aren't ready for it. And what I think is going to be fascinating to see how this all incorporates with rising interest rates. When interest rates rise at a moment when everyone is heavily leveraged in commercial property, when it comes time to refinance these properties, what's going to happen? You've got to really look at this. People bought these properties, many of them, at a 3% or 5% interest rate, right? And so what happens if interest rates go to 7% or 8% or 10%? They're not going to be able to refinance their loans. We're going to start to see a lot of people not be able to make good on their debt commitments when it comes time to refi. We're going to see a lot of change happening in the real estate space. Look at this. So bringing EcoVadis total capital raised over $725 million has led Astarg and Beyond Net Zero General Atlantic Climate Investing Venture, with participation from Singapore-based GIC and Princeville Capital Climate Technological Fund. This investment is validation of EcoVadis model for scaling impacts across global value chains despite the pandemic, geopolitical, or financial headwinds, right? We continue to experience record demand as more companies are empowered to integrate the planet and society into their business operations. We expect this investment to enable us to build on our traction to meet companies, including SMEs and private companies, at any stage of their sustainability journey, and collaboratively dire improvement and practices and impact scale. More than 95,000 businesses across 200 industries, categories, and 175 countries rely on EcoVadis to monitor and improve the sustainability performance of their own companies and trading partners. Today, EcoVadis Pioneer uses sustainability intelligence in procurement of global supply chains. We've already talked about this. Is used across a growing number of use cases, including Scope 3 carbon emissions management, private equity, ESG-linked loans. So, I mean, if you are in full compliance, you're going to be able to get a ton of money. You're going to be able to get investments. You're going to be able to really grow. But if your business says, you know what, I'm not going to do this, you're not going to be able to grow. You're going to have much more problems. You're going to have, it's going to be an uphill battle the whole way through, right? And so, if you want these great ESG-linked loans, supply chain finance, third-party risk and resilience, and more, you want to be a part of it. You got to have. Your company has to be extremely successful, and you have to show the value. Otherwise, they're just going to, if your business, let's say, is in trucking, and you are, assuming a lot of fossil fuels, you are, putting a lot of carbon into the environment, you're doing all of these things, what's going to happen? obviously they're going to look at you as a problem, right? You're one of the enemies. You're one of the people that are making the world a dirtier place, right? And for that, you're not going to, have an easy win, right? You're probably going to have more challenges. And so this is what I think is going to happen. I believe we're going to start to see such massive change in America over the coming few years. Universal basic income 100% is coming. There's no doubt about it. When we start hitting this inflationary environment, Larry Fink says it's going to be inflationary. It's not going to be inexpensive. We see what's happening with fossil fuels. We see what's happening across the board. We have to put the dots together. We have to understand where this whole thing is going, because where it's going is going to be, I think, it's going to be unlike anything we've ever seen, ever. And I believe that we're going to have opportunities to make a ton of money over the coming few years, but it's going to start right now. Like, this is the moment to make as much money as you possibly can. If you have a new business you want to start it today. If maybe you don't know what to do, pick up a book, do something, read, learn about it, because we don't have the conveniences that we had 5 years ago, 10 years ago, where we could start it tomorrow. Probably got a few years. This is all going to take place. It's going to really change every single industry, every business. If you're not smart, if you're not, coming up with a good plan and really, you have really good credit, you put yourself in a position to have access to capital, it's going to be, probably a life that you might not be excited about. My opinion. What do you think? I'm curious about your opinion. Drop your comments below. Hit the like button. Subscribe here. Also subscribe to my second YouTube channel. It's going to be an interactive show and a podcast coming up this upcoming week, as well as LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. If you want to get on the YouTube grind with me and you want to join my private community, have access to my YouTube course, and have bi-weekly calls with me where I help you and train you and teach you on how to build a YouTube channel, cashnow.video. If you want to invest in real estate when things hit the fan and we have more clarity on what's going on in the economy, I think we're going to have massive opportunities in the real estate space, cashnow.video. You need help with your credit, cashnow.video. Catch you guys in the next video.